It's the Bro Show. It's Lucas and Jacob. 2024 is coming to an end.
We did a podcast titled 2021 is over. ... Now what? And I remember the thumbnail was a bomb exploding in the background. And I feel like that's the vibe for this podcast episode because I want to take more of a negative spin on it. 2024 is over, so now we're all going to die, I guess.
No, but is that a social media thing, or as a community, even without social media, has society been leaning more negative? Because when I think of growing up, I don't remember, I guess in 2012, people were like, LOL, the world's going to end because of the Mayan calendar. But other than that, at the end of the year, it was kind of like, oh, new year. But it seems like since like 2018, everyone on social media gathers at the end of the year and says, so that was horrible. Hopefully next year is better. Like, that's always the vibe.
It's always the same thing. January, February, where you see all these things about, this is my routine to have the best year ever. And then fast forward to December and everyone's like, it was the worst year ever. But I also think part of what you're describing is because you see so many people's stats and people use social media more. Whereas back in 2008, like, did you ever really see anyone's stats? Like,
no,
sometimes
not
on
really.
MySpace probably, but not as much as like Twitter or something.
Yeah, and I feel like it's way more intense now.
And also, people just love making stuff negative. Even how I just said, like, we're all gonna die. Like, obviously, 2025 will most likely, like, be fine. It's gonna be good.
Wait. And then when you said 2025, that kind of creeped me out. Like, I don't know what's up with my brain, but like even this past year, it hasn't sunk in that it's 2024. Like, it kind of still, like, I'm still like not sure of what year it is, but now it's like, wait, it already is 2025. Like, I need to start focusing on the calendar more. Like, I need to really like have it in my mind next year. Like, it is 2025. I feel like my brain's just sort of floating around ever since 2020, where I don't really know what year it is. And I'm sort of just in a vacuum, like, spinning around, not knowing what's going on.
I put that in my notes that, like, we have to keep in mind, like, 2025 is actually a monumental year. First of all, it's halfway through the 2020s, and it's also a quarter
of the way through the 2020s. Oh, wait.
Oh, it's halfway.
Oh, okay.
But then I was going to say a quarter into the 21st century. So,
you said it right. I heard you wrong.
So I feel like I'm always excited about years like this because it feels like we're entering a new world. It was like 2024. It's like, okay, the fourth year, 2027. Okay, the seventh year, the 2020s. But I feel like 2025 is actually like really exciting to me.
I know, like, it kind of is giving the vibe of like the end of the world.
to me,
I'm kidding,
it isn't. But I get.
But I'm saying if there was like a Mayan calendar type thing, why did it end so randomly on 2012? Like, that's just such a random year. You would think it would have ended on a monumental, oh my gosh, you're a quarter into the century type year, like 2025.
Yeah, but 2012. Yeah, I was going to say 12-12, but it's 2012. For some reason, I thought it said, like, if you flipped it, it's the same, but it's not. But I agree with you about the whole time thing. I'm just going to say it's because of COVID, and let's just all just get comfortable with using COVID as a thing for the rest of our lives.
I know,
I feel like COVID did something where, like, for a year and a half / 2 years, you felt like you couldn't do anything or something. So then it's kind of up with your brain a little bit. And obviously it is kind of like, oh, well, like, why would we keep using that excuse? But also, like, I kind of do think it somehow did affect everyone more than we think, maybe.
But this coming year, it's going to be half a decade since the beginning of COVID. So it is kind of like, I wonder if in 15 years from now, we'll still be like, well, ever since COVID, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, is that going to be the vibe? Is that how it was after the Spanish flu, do you think? Like, did they keep saying, like, well, ever since the Spanish flu, like, it's been really, like, hard to get back to normal life? Like, I don't know what year it is. I wonder if that was the energy back then. Does anyone know? Is anyone listening who was alive?
I feel like I'm totally
back
like,
then?
back into, like, okay, it's real life. But it just is, like, funny thinking about that within these 5 years. Like, 2 of them, or maybe 1.5, were, like, COVID years. So it is funny, like, thinking, like, that is kind of weird. Out of these 5 years, two out of the 5. That's a pretty big amount.
That is true. But also, I just want to do a little PSA. We are not going to be returning until The second week of January or the first?
The second week. But I kind of wanted to not do a disclaimer because I wanted everyone to think we quit.
I just didn't want to cause drama for the 2 people who would have cared. I want to just let you know we are not abandoning you. We're taking 2 dark weeks to charge our crystals in the moonlight and hopefully come back in 2025 better than ever.
I have a psychic meeting scheduled on January 2nd, and that's going to determine whether I renew my yearly contract with the podcast or not.
Oh, yeah,
Is
it's all
it bad
up in the air.
energy or no?
It's all up in the air. Jacob met a psychic on Fiverr.com, and I'm hoping they'll say he can do it another year, but we don't know what they're going to say yet.
Yeah, there's a few paths that I might lead down. Continue doing YouTube and the podcast, or move to the mountains of Minnesota. And I'm not sure which one he's going to say yet.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for your Zoom session.
Thank you.
It's so much is up in the air.
Yeah.
Today is going to just be a one big recap of the past year, a look back on 2024, our opinions on everything, our favorites, our hates, and everything in between. It's kind of like when Jaclyn Hill used to do like my monthly favorites, and she would talk about all of her favorite beauty products. Like that's sort of going to be this, but we actually aren't going to be mentioning any beauty products, but
we could add that to the list right now.
Oh, should we just say our favorite, cosmetic product of the year of 2024? Mine is definitely, it's not just of this year, it's just of my life, but it was of the last year as well. The Murad Oil Control SPF 45. If you are an oily, greasy person, and I just realized me giving this stamp of approval doesn't mean anything because people always comment saying, you are so greasy, oily person. I love it. But I was just going to say that this sunscreen makes me not oily. But it actually does. I feel like I'd even be greasier if I didn't have this sunscreen. It's the one sunscreen that has great protection, but also gives me sort of a matte finish. But I also can still showcase my greasy self. Yeah, it's a good balance.
We did a video a while back trying every cheesecake, and I was looking at that video a week ago because I wanted to look through the comments to see if anyone suggested anything else we could try every of. And I'm not joking. There was like the top 10 comments of that whole video were just people saying, oh my gosh, why do you guys all look so greasy? And for that video, if you've watched it, I actually am going to say, okay, yes, I'm greasy. But I remember when I uploaded it, I saw those comments, and I'm just going to say it's because of the lighting. Because when you watch that video, it does actually look like we're so greasy.
It isn't like a healthy, dewy look.
No, well, some people did say, like, comment under the greasy comment saying, like, maybe they're just, like, moisturized. But no, it's. I don't think it's, like, disgusting, but it is like, oh, yeah, like, they are really greasy.
It gives, like, a pizza roll energy.
Yeah.
Wait, so when was that video, though? Because I just want you guys to know, like, I have experimented with other sunscreens. Murad is my tried and true, but I have experimented with these European sunscreens, and sometimes I commit for a couple months, but I think that might have been, I think when this cheesecake video was filmed, I was in my greasy European sunscreen era.
If I remember right, it was filmed in June or July, and I was in that European era, but I remember you quit it months before that, and just, I don't know, you said I had alcohol in it or something, but with that European sunscreen, I love the idea of it because apparently it's so much more protective than these US sunscreens, but I can't use it because it makes me so greasy, and I also hated the feeling of when you can feel things on your face, and that kind of caused that for me.
Oh, yeah, no, Europe and like South Korea, Japan, they have way more innovative sunscreen filters that are way more protective. In America, I'm pretty sure we haven't approved a new sunscreen filter for decades. Like, we need to get on that. I know there's a lot of other issues like the government's worried about, but can we get better sunscreen, LOL?
I wouldn't even put it as far as, I know there's a lot of other issues. We should stop downgrading everything. I feel like all these politicians do talk about dumb shit. So I feel like you can say sunscreen's so dumb, but they already talk about dumb shit. So let's add sunscreen into the mix. Like, I literally would have voted for an independent person, even if everyone said they weren't going to win, if they at least said, okay, we're going to look at all this like stuff we do for the health industry and for wellness and stuff. We're going to upgrade all that shit. It's been the same since the 80s. Like, I would have voted for them even though I would have known they wouldn't have won. So I think they should start focusing on it. Or if someone probably is, but I think they should be more focused on whoever's focusing on it.
There's so many effing government employees. One of them, a lot of them aren't doing anything. They're low-key just watching Netflix all day and looking at OnlyFans pages and pretending that they're doing some task. Those people, I just wish they would be honest about how they could take on more work and they could just work a few hours a day to maybe get some more sunscreen filters passed. Actually, the problem is that in America, we classify sunscreen filters as drugs. So the FDA has to approve them. Whereas in these other countries, they're a cosmetic and cosmetics aren't as regulated. Like, why can't we just make them cosmetics?
Oh, also, why do like drugs have to have so many regulations?
No, it's
like why can't it just be like, oh, like sunscreen is a drug, but we're gonna still allow a bunch of it, and if it's like if you use a bad one, it's your fault.
Yeah. So that's my favorite cosmetic. What's yours?
I started using it like a year and a half ago, but it is my favorite of the year. Tretinoin.
Oh, tried and true. Everybody get on Tretinoin immediately.
Yeah, I've switched between just normal Tretinoin that you get, like just basic Tretinoin that you get over the counter, and I also tried a few online ones. I'm not sure which one I like the most because I'm done with my online one right now. It has a bunch of other like compounds or chemicals in it that help with redness and stuff. I'm gonna switch back to the normal one again and see if I like that more. But just overall, I like Tretinoin because I feel like it makes my skin clear, and yes, it sometimes does dry out my skin, but it's not too much. And when I used to use benzoyl peroxide, it felt so harsh, and I like how Tretinoin, from what I know, doesn't like ruin your skin.
Yeah, it's been studied since like the 1970s. It originally was just an acne ingredient, but then they were like, wait, everyone who puts this on their face is really hot. And then they realized, oh my gosh, it's also like severely anti-aging. So it's like just a miracle skincare cream that if you aren't using, girl, get with it. You know?
Well, I guess in another world, I might not be using it because I just know about it because of you.
I know. So I thank God, like the grocery store community will now know. You know?
Yeah, because it is an acne thing. Because I guess I only used it for like 6 months at this point. But when I was 14 or something, I used it because the dermatologist prescribed it to me.
Yeah, I actually get mine from the agency.com. It's owned by Curology. I'm open to switching though if anyone else wants to sponsor the podcast. But I really like it. I've been using it for years. And it's just great because on those websites, they are more expensive than just buying Tretinoin from a regular, just generic Tretinoin. But I like it because they're just more cosmetically elegant. They're mixed with like azelaic acid, niacinamide, like just the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I've been using too. And if they do want to sponsor us, like I've been using it for so many months and I like it. But the reason why I want to switch to the Amazon one, just to the generic one after this is because I just don't like how it expires so quick.
But anyway, so we have a bunch of topics we're going to get into. First of all, everyone's been dying to know what our Apple replays are.
Apple replay.
I think at least one person has asked us, so we have to tell everyone what our top music was of the year. We are not Spotify people. We're Apple people.
Apple Music is a subscription music service. We both use it for all the music we listen to. Sometimes we listen to YouTube, but not that often. And it does a replay, so it tells you what you like the most for the year.
I know, it is really fun. And
I like it.
Every year I don't believe it, though. Because I'm like, what? Like, it's weird how you realize that the song you played the most might not be your favorite song.
Yeah, I realized that a few years ago. That like sometimes I go through a thing where I love this song for like a week, literally only a week, only song I listen to. But then if I got to choose my favorite song of the year, it wouldn't be that song. But obviously I love that song because I listen to it so much.
I feel like I used to listen to music way more. I still do, but I feel like a lot of my like earphone time is podcasts nowadays, and even my time in the car. Like sometimes I'd rather listen to a podcast than music. So I feel like. Yeah, like
it's funny that we're doing a podcast. That's not even one of the things on the list, our favorite podcast.
Oh yeah, it isn't. You actually don't even listen to podcasts, Jacobs. I remember I always hear these musicians like Charlie XX, for example. They're like, "What music do you listen to?" And she always says like, "I actually don't listen to music." And that's like you're a podcaster, but you don't listen to podcasts.
Yeah. I don't really listen to podcasts. Sometimes I'm on a long road trip though. We listen to podcast because when you're on a long road trip, I feel like music gets boring after a while.
Oh yeah,
Like,
there's like a point 4 hours in where music actually hurts to listen to.
yeah, unless though there is ways to do it though, is if you choose certain genres and like really stick to genres and then do a full 180 and do that genre. Like no, I feel like what ruins music is switching. Stick to one genre and even listen to like full albums. I feel like that probably makes it less boring.
Oh, maybe.
But what's your favorite podcast of the year?
That's hard to just nail it down to one. But one that
Obviously, Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan all the way. Listen to him every day, and he's my main news source. No, I have listened to a few of his episodes because every now and then I'll have like every now and then I kind of want to go into fake news if I'm being honest. Like not the serious stuff. I don't want to hear him interview politicians and stuff. But when he has like somebody on who's like, so the pyramids are fake. Like I do want to listen for 3 hours. I'm going to admit it. The whole time I'm listening, I'm thinking, you know what? Like this might not be true, but I love going into these, I guess like non-consequential conspiracies. Like I guess, no, yeah, I'm going to say it's non-consequential. I was going to say maybe somebody's ancestors made the pyramids and they're going to be offended that if I listen to a podcast claiming aliens did it, but it was so far back, I don't really feel bad for you.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. Recently I haven't listened to a Joe Rogan episode, but just in general, like adjacent stuff to that stuff. Like I like always listening to just like some random ass person saying like, okay, so did you know that in ancient Greece they actually had computers? Like I just like stuff like that, and
it's just fun.
Yeah, and I actually am not the most skeptical person, but I always have in the back of my mind like this might not even be true, but I just like listening to it still.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just very open, which I guess like is the perfect mindset for so I'd be the perfect person to try to recruit for a cult. Like saying, I'm so open to different ideas, but it is just fun, you know, every now and then listening to a conspiracy podcast from Joe Rogan. But he isn't my favorite podcast. I listen to him maybe like 3 times a year. My favorite, actually, I don't even have a favorite, but one that we listened to recently that's so good is the telepathy tapes.
Oh, yeah. So,
this was just this week.
I don't listen to podcasts, so I was just gonna say the telepathy tapes, even though I've listened to only 1.5 episodes, and it was really interesting and I liked it, but yeah, it was a really good.
Yeah, I'm like really good on episode 4. It's so cool. It's like a documentary. Like it's like a full edited thing. It isn't just interviews.
I've never watched a podcast like that. Well, or listened to one. Well, there's a bunch of edits and it feels so much like a vlog. Like, you know, if someone's doing a vlog, they would randomly be in their kitchen being like, okay, this is me and my friend talking about it. That's what the podcast does. Like they have random bits. And it basically is an actual docuseries, but in podcast form.
Yeah, it's about non-speaking autistic people, about how a lot of them have telepathic abilities. And she teams up with like this scientist from Harvard or something. And they say like, oh yeah, like the actual scientific community doesn't take this seriously because like there's not really a way to measure it. And also it's so fringe. But they do all these tests with these non-speaking autistic people and their parents. And they actually like have 100% reliability with these telepathic abilities. And it is such a good podcast. I'm only, on episode 4, but I actually love it. It's what I listen to in the gym this week.
Wow.
I know. It's just so cool. Cause like, I mean, like, who knows? Maybe it's all just fake, but like maybe they scamming the whole podcast, but I actually don't think they are. Like, no, they're really like doing it in a good way.
I feel like it's 100% not fake. It's 100% not fake. But this is the one thing that someone could say. You could say it's not telepathy. It could be more of like interconnectedness. I don't know, but
nobody knows how they do it. But
yeah, I've only listened to one episode, but maybe I guess you can. But I just feel like it's 100% not fake. It just depends what's actually happening. Like, how is it telepathy or is it more of like a joint consciousness with another human being?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just crazy because some of these parents, like they thought their kid they didn't think they'd ever be able to learn anything. They thought they were like, oh, obviously I love my kid and I'm gonna take care of them, but they just kind of gave up hope on them ever being able to communicate in any form. But then like this one girl in the episode I listened to, I think her kid was like 17 or 18, and then that's when like she like heard about this and she started bringing him to the school or something. And then he learned how to like communicate with her through typing, and she found out he was telepathic. Just
I
a
know
vibe.
It made me so curious. Like, so before there was like keyboards and stuff, it would have been so different.
Yeah, I think there's
just from the 2 episodes I listened to, they communicated through like keyboards and typing.
Yeah, they also have a thing, I guess, where there's a letter board and they can point to letters. So obviously it takes a long time, but they can communicate that way.
So they would spell out words through the letters. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But should we get into our top artists of the year on Apple Replay?
Yeah. This year they broke it into months too, which is kind of cool. We aren't gonna go into that, but that's cool.
Oh, yeah, I actually did just put a little note down because my January favorite artist was Renee Rapp. And that just brings back such fond memories because I just love how January was somehow like January for me was all about Renee Rapp. Like I watched the Mean Girls musical, and even my top song of January was Meet the Plastics by Renee Rapp. Like I've actually never gotten into her music as herself, but I was such a fan of her as Regina George in January. So
I actually remember for that when we were in Australia at this time, and I remember you just were hyping her up so much, and you were like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I swear you kind of did say this. I want to go to Coachella, low key, just for Renee Rapp.
I know she was on the Coachella lineup, but she wouldn't have even sang the songs from Mean Girls.
Yeah. She wouldn't have.
I know, but if there was ever a Renee Rapp concert where she just sings the Mean Girls soundtrack, oh my God, your microphone is wet, Jacob. I think you're going to get shocked.
I know.
You're going to get electrically shocked.
I'm so nervous being here.
Doesn't
I'm
Julia
sweaty.
Fox also have like sweaty hand disease?
Yeah, she said it in a book. There's actually a name for it, but
Oh my gosh, I love that.
but yeah, so it's kind of saying that like, so that kind of proves that this isn't fake. The year is so long. It's 12 months, so much time, 365 days. So it's this thing where it's like, yes, you after that month, but overall, like it's not.
Yeah, I never got into it again, but I have a whole life ahead of me, so I might go down the Renee Rapp rabbit hole once again. But my top artists are Charlie XCX was number 1. Number 2, Sabrina Carpenter. And then Slater.
Cause you're slaying 2024.
Yes! I gotta say, those 3, like, that makes sense to me. This was the Sabrina Carpenter Renaissance year. She fully just broke into my psyche this year, and everyone else's. She's an actual superstar now. Isn't it weird that 1 year ago, like, she obviously was famous, and some people, like, a lot of people knew her, but now she's actually, like, the holy grail of everything, you know?
I know. I feel like it's so weird for like, I feel like if you've been on the internet, you've known about her, but it's so weird being like, I remember like listening to like Why and what's that one song? Oh, Sue Me. And like, I'm just going to say 2018, 2017, 2019, one of those years.
Remember the song called Thumbs?
that was like a really old one, but like those songs. And then I always thought like this music is good, but she's not like so mainstream. And then she became so mainstream, and it's actually so crazy to me. Like, she slayed it.
I remember I heard Nonsense like 2 years ago at this point, and I was like, oh, okay. Like at first, remember we heard it on the radio in LA in the In-N-Out parking lot, and we both thought it was like Ariana Grande at first. We were like, what? Like, oh, this is like such an Ariana Grande vibe. But I still loved it. But then she's kind of evolved into her own thing now, you know?
Yeah, I feel like if you fully are diving into her career, she had like music before Nonsense that was big, like in its own right. But then I feel like Nonsense was the first stepping stone to superstardom.
Yeah.
Mine are Charlie XCX is number 1. That's funny. We both have.
Oh my God, we are just Charlie XCX boys.
Number 2 is Lana Del Rey. Okay, now
Emo.
this is what's weird. The next 3 are people that didn't release an album this year. Number 3 is SZA. Number 4 is Frank Ocean. Then number 5 is Billie Eilish. And
Billie Eilish did, right?
yeah, but I mean the next Lana Del Rey, SZA, and Frank Ocean, none of them released an album. So that kind of does prove like I really F with them because they didn't even release an album.
No, I believe that because I swear ever since SZA released SOS, I feel like whenever I'm in the car with you, like I almost would think your Apple Music would just be SZA. Like I thought like your replay would just be her because I swear like that's so weird because I don't ever listen to it on my own because I feel like I listen to it enough with you that I never need to listen to it by myself, but I actually love that whole album
I
so much.
know.
I know, like, probably know every word from listening to it so much.
So, yeah, it just is one of those things where I feel like the more you listen to it, like you realize like this song is good and I didn't really listen to it before. I feel
Yes.
like, yeah, it's been out for 2 years now, and I would actually say that it's proof right now that album is good. I'm just gonna say it. It's one of the best albums of the 21st century.
Oh, for sure. SZA did that. And she's going to be in a movie with Keke Palmer coming out
I'm
next year.
excited for that.
A comedy, like a slapstick
I've
comedy.
never seen her act. Like I'm gonna be there opening night. I
I'm gonna
might
be-
not, but I wanna watch. I'm gonna watch it.
We are going to be sat.
Honestly, okay, SZA. I'm so excited because I've never seen her act. But then Keke Palmer.
I'll watch her in anything.
Like she always brings the energy.
Yes, forever. Forever doing it.
Yeah.
So top
But
songs.
that is an interesting take. What you just said. Like if you drive with someone else and they have their phone connected, sometimes you are really into these songs and artists, but you don't even download them because it's like, oh, like we already listened to it so many times on this road trip that I love it so much that I'm not gonna download it because I already over-listened.
Oh, yeah, no, that actually is how it is with like Frank Ocean and SZA, just through you listening to them.
Wait, what?
Wait, why was there a pause? Wait, is everything okay?
No, that's funny because I feel like this podcast is like the non-stop no pauses podcast. But don't you feel like in most conversations there is pauses? But I feel like it's probably just because we're brothers and we know each other. Like there's never is pauses. So then when there is a pause, it is like,
Wait, is everything okay? All right, top songs. Number 1, Espresso. Obviously, that song. I remember when that song came out, I remember watching the music video and just being like, wow, like from the get-go, I loved it. And then I remember seeing other people on social media loving it. And then I was like, holy shit, like this is actually the song of the year. And then everyone loves it. Like everyone just loves it. Everyone sings to it. It actually just brings you to another dimension listening to Espresso. And yes, if I've over listened to it at this point, that it's worn off a little bit. But if I take 3 weeks off and then listen to it now, it has the same magic. It's Espresso.
pause. How did we not realize this?
What?
You have been hyping up on the podcast and in real life 2 things: drinking espresso and getting an espresso.
And then my favorite song is Espresso.
Yeah, you've been getting cappuccinos saying should I have 1 shot or 2 shots, and then your favorite song is espresso. It's like, wait, was it one big collab with Nespresso? Actually, though.
And I'm part of it.
Yeah, no, you're not part of it.
I was just influenced?
Yeah, no, it's like a secret government collab.
Wait, I actually can't believe that. And I am such a dumbass. Why did I try to quit caffeine in the year of espresso by Sabrina Carpenter? Like, that is nonsense. You got me speaking nonsense. That is actual nonsense. And it's funny because my second top song according to Apple is Illusion. And Illusion.
That song is such a good song.
But what's funny, both those songs came out the same night. And I'll bring you back to my headspace. It's also the same Thursday night the Tortured Poets Department came out. Swifties unite!
Some could say that we Lucas are tortured poets.
Yeah. So we were in Arizona. For Matthew's, I'm not going to say his age because he's not here. I'll let him speak on his age, but he's in his 50s. It was his birthday in Arizona. And I remember Espresso and Illusion and the Tortured Poets Department all came out that Thursday. And it's so funny going back to my mindset, because I remember us being in the hotel and watching the Illusion music video, the Espresso music video, and then the Fortnite music video from the Tortured Poets Department. And in my mind, I thought, obviously, Illusion's going to be the song of the summer. But I love Espresso. I hope it does good. But now it's like Espresso is the song of the summer, and Illusion was more of the backseat vibe.
Okay. Yeah, that is so interesting that was like two worlds colliding. And the Espresso music video, such a good music video. Like I like the vibes. It's supposed to be like Palm Springs in the 70s.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Cheesy.
But then I love that music video. I truly do. But I love the Illusion music video a little bit more because it's the ultimate. It's actually not the ultimate, but I'm just gonna say that ultimate gay music video. It's a bunch of gay people dancing around her, and then she's on this like metal thing in a pool. I swear, I want to rewatch that music video because it just, to me, gives the vibe of she was in a meeting with like, and then she brought all her gay friends, and they're like, "What should we do?" And then said, "Okay, let's all put Speedos on. Let's have me dancing around you."
I know that music video is so good. It's all these Olympic gays, Tom Daly people in Speedos jumping off a diving board. Like I feel like the inspiration for the music video was the gay director. I don't even know who the director was, but I'm going to assume it was a gay guy. He saw Tom Daly in a Speedo dive off a diving board and was like, that's the concept for the next Dua Lipa music video. Gays and Speedos diving. Dua Lipa just looks hot in the middle. She kind of just really is giving it towards the camera, model faces. Like, and I think she does dancing too. Oh my God. The cowboy dance where they like have like a lasso, it seems like, but they don't.
Don't you kind of feel like this? The Sabrina Carpenter music video, I feel like everyone would watch it and be like, that's a slap. I feel like the Illusion music video, one of the reasons that I'm going to say is why that song didn't totally pop off is because the music video wouldn't be liked by a widespread society. I kind of think just because it's a little bit more experimental. Not really, but kind of. I
am still in utter confusion as to why Illusion wasn't also the second song of the summer. I think Espresso, like, it deserved to be the song of the summer, but how wasn't Illusion in the top 3 at least? Like, that is a hit, a bop. It is everything everyone loves. I don't know who sabotaged it, what happened, but there was obviously a conspiracy, and hopefully Joe Rogan will interview someone for 4.5 hours, and I'll listen to every minute, because I have to know how the Illusion song wasn't one of the contenders for the song of the summer. I don't understand.
The only thing I can justify it by is this. This is the only thing. Is that I'm just going to guess it's because of this. Sabrina Carpenter, she's new to the mainstream, so she has more potential. That's what I always think. I feel like when the people see these new faces, people like them more. Dua Lipa, she's had already 2 massive albums. This is her 3rd massive, but supposed to be massive album. I feel like people sometimes do get a little bit bored of people, just society does. So I feel like that's why it didn't do as good as it should have been.
Because last summer, she already had kind of the song of the summer with that Barbie song. So I do feel like, maybe she should have taken 1 summer off, but she didn't. I still am happy she did. She came back because I loved Illusion. My 3rd top song was 360 by Charlie XCX. I also liked this.
Okay, that one, I feel like you liked that one a lot.
Mm-hmm. What are your top songs?
Okay, number 1 is Tennessee by Kevin Abstract and Lil Nas X. So this is one of those things where I truly do like this song, but it's so funny that it's number 1. Well, I mean, I do really like it. I just didn't expect it to be number 1.
I know that is crazy because even just being in the car with you, you did play that song a lot towards the beginning of the year, but then it fell off a little bit. So I guess you played it enough in that time that it was the number 1 song of your year.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good song, like Halo, Tennessee. Come to me.
Hey, little Tennessee. What does it sound like? Something like, I want to see you bouncing on the ceiling. What's it say? I want to see you levitating.
Something about levitating, yeah.
That's a bop.
Number 2, Everything is Romantic by Charlie XCX.
Everything is romantic. Is it true that the shooter of the healthcare guy posted an Instagram photo and the caption was "Everything is romantic"?
Oh, I should. How people think I'm gonna think I'm a shooter?
Probably.
Okay, but the thing about this is that I was thinking about this the other day. Everything is romantic. Did she get the idea for that song from people on social media using the word romanticizing a bunch, saying romanticizing a rock, romanticizing my normal life? I kind of have a theory that she got the idea for that song from the trend of romanticizing.
No, she probably doesn't even realize it, but she did.
Okay, number 3 is Rewind. Sometimes I was like, but honestly, okay, Charlie XCX's album is such a good album, but I feel like it's this weird thing where if you really listen to the album, I feel like it's one of these things where like the way she sings and stuff is kind of annoying, but I like it. You know, it's not even being a hater or anything. I just don't know if the word is annoying, but it's like kind of obnoxious in a weird way.
I know she sort of invented her own thing. Like she's not rapping, she's not singing, she's not talking. Like in that song Rewind, she's like, sometimes I want to think if I deserve commercial success, but I don't know if I do. Like it's kind of just her. She's going with the energy of the universe.
No, yeah, that's why I like it. Is because the way she sings actually feels so unique.
Oh, for sure.
Number 4 is Deeper Well by Casey Musgraves. And number 5 is Spring Breakers. And I really, the one that, okay, I appreciate all these songs, but I really appreciate Spring Breakers because I remember hearing that song and like one of the first times I heard it, I just remember listening to the lyrics and being like, this is Queen type shit.
Oh, no, I would have to say that, it's hard. Between Spring Breakers and Guess, those are my actual favorite songs from Brat. Not 360, even though it's my top song. But Spring Breakers and Guess, especially Spring Breakers, like, she's talking about how she wants to start the Grammys on fire, like, and she's nominated for all these Grammys. So when she shows to that when she shows up to that red carpet, is there going to be extra security? Because aren't they probably thinking like, what if on the off chance she actually does start the red carpet on fire?
Yeah, I feel like I've joked about that so many times that when do things become a threat? So obviously the song's just a joke, but how far would she have to go into the song would it be a threat? Like, so this is the verse. And I put some gasoline on the carpet, then I lit a cigarette and I blew the whole thing up. But if she would have,
then I just laughed.
But if she would have said, yeah, and then I lit a cigarette and I saw all these interviewers dying, these celebrities, and I laughed so loud, then would the Grammys be like, this is actually a threat?
She's kind of like Loki doing a bomb threat, because I just say, I threw gasoline on the carpet, lit a cigarette, and flicked it and laughed. And then she says this, the place went boom, 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 clap. Wait, she says the place went boom, 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 clap. Like, that's actually a bomb.
And then I love the part. Police sirens everywhere. Now I'm on the news with that DUI star. Who cares? Just put me on the news with that microphone. And that's not what I want to think of that. Yeah.
She better do the best acceptance speeches for when she wins. But then I love the bridge, though, where she gets more serious and she's like, maybe if I did win a Grammy, I would like thank God and stuff. She's like, because maybe I would just be really nice and be like a good girl and say, thank you, God, and thanks to the fans. Like, it'll be so interesting seeing her at the Grammys.
I know. She's probably going to win something. So it'll be so cool to see her acceptance speech.
Oh, she's for sure going to win. My top albums, Brat is number 1. Number 2 is Short and Sweet. Number 3, Starfucker by Slater.
Ew, what?
Starfucker by Slater.
Ew, what?
Well, I'm not kidding. It is so fun to say fucker. Like, actually enunciate it. Starfucker.
I feel like people don't use that word enough. That's why I appreciate it so much. And just, Starfucker.
All you are is a starfucker.
We've experienced that a lot being podcasters.
Oh, yeah. People surround us and they're all a bunch of starfuckers.
They want something from us and we aren't going to give it to them.
But you guys need to listen to Starfucker by Slater, the whole album, obviously.
Especially the song.
Such a starfucker.
I'm not even joking when I say this. Like, she's actually one of the best concerts I've been to.
Oh, that was, the most fun ever. Like, we couldn't even see her on stage because the crowd we were like in the back, but it was so much fun. Okay, what are your top albums?
Okay, say it again, because I feel like I was just like kept laughing at myself.
Oh, it's just Brat, Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter, and Starfucker.
Okay, so mine's actually kind of funny as fuck.
Wait, what is it?
I need a giggle.
Wait.
Okay, number 1, Brat, the deluxe version, the one with 2 extra songs, Gus, Spring Breakers, and Hello Goodbye, 3 extra songs, I guess. Number 2 is the Brat remix album.
Oh, damn.
Number 5 is just Brat.
See, Brat is all over there in multiple versions.
I know. I kind of wish they would have condensed that, but yeah, I get it. Number 3 is Chromacopia by Tyler, the Creator. Number 4 is Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. The Chromacopia one is kind of crazy because that literally came out like 2 months ago.
No, that got up there quick.
I know. I'm paranoid. Yeah, I mean, I like those, so I get it.
Oh, yeah, no, mine makes sense to me, too. But now, since we went through that, this seems kind of redundant because we've been talking about music for so long. But now we're going to see if it's true. Because we're going to give our favorite song of the year. So mine was true. My favorite song is Espresso, and that's my Apple Music top listen song. So it was correct. And I also said my favorite album was Brat, because I probably was the most into that album throughout most of the year. So both of my Apple Music things were actually right.
Okay, so for me, I actually love Tennessee, but I was thinking about the whole year.
What's going on?
Had to burp. My number 1 song, I would say, even though I didn't listen to it that much, I guess according to Apple Music, is Houdini. I come and I go. Houdini.
By Dua Lipa?
Yeah,
Dua Lipa?
I feel like I remember when that song came out, there's this part of the song where there's like a guitar breakdown, and I remember
Oh.
and I also loved it. Another reason I liked it is, I guess you could say a superficial reason. It's because Tame Impala produced it, and that kind of added to it to me.
Oh, there was so much excitement around the album knowing that he was in the studio with her.
Yeah, so that's, I'm going to say, my favorite one. And then for album, they got it right, Brat. Because I just feel like that album, I feel like I've over-listened to it, where like I don't even really know what my favorite album is, but just thinking about it, I did listen to it a bunch.
Oh, yeah. Because I also loved
album.
Sabrina Carpenter's album, but I don't listen to all of the songs. Like these very slow songs about Shawn Mendes, I always skip. But I love like the hits, you know?
Yeah.
But
now we're getting into more music stuff, guys. This is getting...
So we decided to put a bunch of categories. So this is kind of like the Bro Show Grammys. The Broies.
I was going to say we should do another episode making it more intense. You know how Billboard said, the best pop stars of the 24th century? We should do an episode where we rank stuff by the whole century. Because I was born in 2001. Technically, I've been alive for the whole 24th century. You've been alive for the whole 24th century, so we can do that accurately.
That's true. We should. But we're both going to give our nomination for the best depression song of 2024. Mine, I actually was looking through my Apple Music because I was having a hard time with this one. I was like, what is my best depression song? And the one I came up with is Watermelon Moonshine by Lainey Wilson. I was really into this song, and it's not even really a depression song, but it is a low tempo song, so I'll give it. Got my nomination. It's just such a good song. It's like Strawberry Wine, but the 2024 version. I don't even know if this came out this year, but this year is when I found it and listened to it a bunch.
Yeah, I feel like it is hard to not have like recency bias. So I really tried to look.
Mm-hmm.
My best depression song is Deeper Well by Casey Musgraves. So
that is good.
It's like really not that much of a depression song, but it is a slow song, and it is kind of like retrospective. So I'm just going to say it's a depression song, and I actually just love that song. And then I was going to say, the song's really good, but then I just remember seeing this funny ass tweet. She says something like, something about waking and baking. What's the lyric? Do you remember?
I used to wake and bake, but now I don't do that anymore or something.
I used to, something about smoking weed right in the morning, and then I remember seeing this funny ass tweet about this person like hitting a big bong in the morning, and then I just pictured Casey Musgraves doing that, and it made me like that. Honestly, it was one of the funniest things I saw
That
this year.
whole Casey Musgraves album just reminds me of Moab, Utah, because we were filming videos in that area, and you kept playing the Casey Musgraves album, and it fit the scenery so much.
I
like
know
The Architect, is that also from that album?
Yeah.
Can I ask the architect?
Even something as small as an apple. How did it get here?
Actually, though.
There's a canyon that runs through the desert. Did it get here from a flood or a storm?
No one knows.
No, but honestly, that whole album is really good.
So next category at the Broies, the best pussy pop song.
Pussy
This
pop.
was hard.
Pussy pop. Pop that pussy, pop that pussy, pop that pussy.
So this is the song we've been popping our pussies to the most. Mine is Bounce by Erica Jane. That is the ultimate pussy pop song. You guys, I know none of you have listened to it. Immediately play Bounce by Erica Jane and tell me it isn't a pussy pop song of the year.
Why I think it's one of the best pussy pop songs of the year. Okay, so you know how sometimes when you're drinking and like you're just having fun, you're just having a fun night, and sometimes you think, am I embarrassing? But then she says this in the song and it just builds you up again. What did she say? She said something so funny.
The part where she says, you want me to say sorry? Sorry for what?
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
I think she said something funny. I forgot. But she just does this whole vibe. She said something about line up. Saying like all these haters have to line up.
Oh, she said, wanna call me a mess? Get in line, get in line.
Oh yeah, get in line. I like
What'd you say?
that.
Take your shirt off your chest. Wait, make those titties bounce. Oh, it's just such a pussy pop anthem. What's your nomination?
So I have two.
Okay.
I don't know which one's the winner. No Comma by Slater or Sticky by Tyler, the Creator. But those are both really good pussy pop songs. No
Those
Comma by
are.
Slater is such a good one because she just like there's a lyric that says something about getting paid for sex like once or twice, but she doesn't. I forgot what even the lyric was, but I love that lyric.
I got paid for sex like once, maybe 3 times, but girl, it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm Throatzilla, so they run. Pink Swarovski on my gun. She has a gun that's covered in, how do you say that word? Swarovski crystals.
Some type of, yeah, I don't even know how to say it, but.
Yeah, I kind of want to get a gun now and bedazzle it.
I know.
And then get that one license so I can carry it around all the time.
I know.
Because why not?
I know.
It's my right.
The Second Amendment, right?
It's my right to get a bedazzled gun and have it on my hip.
I know.
But, next category at the Broies is Best Stupid Song. I know you could say Bounce by Erica Jane fits that, but instead I put Cock Blocker by Kim Petras because this was in rotation for a while in my car. This song just makes me laugh. It gives Lonely Island vibes. It feels like who's the guy who did Andy Samberg? It feels like an Andy Samberg song. Cock Blocker by Kim Petras. Like, it's just a good laugh. Just reminds me of these cocaine Adderall girls and like they're so high energy and they're so manic and they have these long fingernails, like, but they're so like drunk all the time. It's a very good vibe.
The way she like sings or rap, so I don't know what you'd call it. It's so bitchy and stuff, which is
I
cool.
know, it's just the most vapid song.
My best stupid song, and I actually am not gonna say this is recency bias because it actually is just such a fun song. You My Everything by Sexy Red. Okay, now the reason why it's labeled as a stupid song is because she's purposely trying to sound so bad. It's like, ooh, my baby. Just such a good song.
That song is so good, and it proves like maybe you don't have to be a good singer to make a good song. Like, she I don't know if she's purposely singing like off key or whatever, but it works.
And then, okay, yeah. So this is the thing is I remember playing it and being like, this song is funny. But then I knew it was actually a good song when I was on a run. And I was running on a trail and I actually was stuck in my head. You my everything. It was crazy. Like she knows how to create a hit.
I know. I just love her and Drake collabing all the time.
I know, my king and queen, you know?
Just the perfect duo. The thought and the gay son.
I know.
Isn't that the whole thing? What kid would you rather have, a thought or a gay son? Well, you get both with Drake and Sexy Red.
Well, I might pick Drake because the BBL.
BBL Drizzy. Next. Okay, so now we're going on to the Oscars of the Bro Show. Favorite movie of the year. Now, this one was very hard because yesterday when I was writing these down, I'm not kidding, I actually was brain dead yesterday. And it's because I did this hardcore leg workout and I actually was brain dead looking at my laptop. Nothing could come up. There was no energy going through my body. And
you gotta be more lazy.
I know, I need to stop going to the gym. But I just go to the gym so much. But I was trying to think of all the movies we watched this year, or I watched just on my own time, and I couldn't. Like, no lists were coming to my mind. I really couldn't think of anything besides, like, kind of recent movies.
Yeah, so I was, like, really trying to think, too. And then I just looked at, like, Google of a bunch of movies that got released this year. And honestly, I'm being honest, I haven't really watched a movie this year where I completely hated it. So I don't, like... But, yeah, I tried to think of my favorite.
I just did 3. Nora, a movie by Sean Baker, The Substance, which we already talked about at length. And Last Skincare. It's a movie with Elizabeth Banks that I also really enjoyed. We were talking so much about skincare earlier, but it's a skincare psychological thriller.
I still want to watch that. I haven't watched it yet.
I know, it's talking like it's about like tretinoin and stuff, but then also like it's a horror movie. It's really good.
It's actually about tretinoin?
Well, she's like an esthetician. Like she's all about like skincare products
they
and stuff.
Don't mention tretinoin in it.
No,
I thought they actually like part of the skit was actually like someone was stealing tretinoin.
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure it's based on a true story loosely.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So, what are your favorite movies? Or favorite movie it was supposed to be?
Yeah. So, Noah is honestly probably my favorite movie. But I did put I'm biased though because I just love when I'm not even joking. I love when movies are about sex work. And
she's a stripper / prostitute.
Yeah, so immediately when a movie is about sex work, I love it way more. But Noah is just such a good movie. Like he mixed because a lot of his movies are about sex work. But then this was like his first movie where to me, he also made it like a thriller drama type thing. It was and then it made it so much better when I Googled about the main character, and she was like saying that like it's actually just all an act. Like I always think like when someone's playing a stripper in a movie, they're kind of like wild and like crazy in real life. But she actually just said like, oh yeah, I don't even really like, I'm not. She just made it sound like she's so normal in real life. So it just proves how good of an actor she is.
I know. She better be nominated for an Oscar for that. Because like yeah, in interviews, she just reminds you of Miranda Cosgrove, like this really soft-spoken, polite girl. But then in the movie, yeah, she's full. It doesn't feel like she's acting at all. It feels so natural, but she's playing like the polar opposite.
And the soundtrack for the movie, that's just a small part of the movie, but the soundtrack is so good.
Oh yeah,
Brooke Candy, Slater, and just so many other
I know.
songs.
The day after we watched that, I was at my house and I watched like 3 Sean Baker movies. Like the whole day was just a Sean Baker marathon.
It probably was a little bit depressing. Because
it was
his, like I'm thinking of the Red Rocket and stuff like those are.
Yeah, they always are. Like they always have a dark vibe, but they are just so good because they're all about like the American dream, basically. Like people really trying to make it in some way, and then most of the time, like reality, like they crushes down on them.
Yeah, and another thing about Noah to prove how good it is, I feel like I know a movie is really good is when you feel the feelings that are happening in the movie. At the end of the movie, I didn't because I guess I was holding myself back, but I actually could have cried. I felt so horrible and sad for the main character because she just went through so much stuff. The ending of the movie, if you haven't watched it, is actually like so wild and like heartbreaking, and it's so like airy too. It's just it's actually such a way like that. I'm thinking back to being in the movie theater and being like, this movie was insane.
I know, actually.
And then a few other ones I wanted to mention was Maxine, such a good movie.
Oh, that whole entire trilogy.
And Late Night with the Devil was such a good movie.
Oh, that was a good movie.
That's the thing is that there's so many good movies.
We did least favorite movie. You said you didn't see a movie this year that you hated. I did. Night Swim.
Oh, yeah. Was that last year, though, or no?
It came out in January.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I couldn't really think of that many, but I said Mean Girls, the musical, even though
You're hating on Renee Rapp?
I actually didn't really like that movie. And then another one was Joker, just because I had higher expectations. But the thing about both those movies, I actually didn't really see a bad movie this year. Like it wasn't a thing where I'm so bored during these movies. I still like them both.
Yeah, and Night Swim I actually didn't like at all, but I mean like the movie's about a pool being scary. Like that's my fault for going to that movie. Because obviously I already didn't like the idea, so why did I even go? You know what I mean? That's on me. But I know there's some Night Swim fans out there. It's for you. I'm not going to yuck your yum.
It's one of the things where I'm still glad I watched it, though. Just because it was
it was just a fun afternoon. We went with our sister, Allie. It was a fun way to spend the afternoon. Because we were kind of laughing we were like liked how we didn't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I didn't like it either. So that would be a good contender for my list, too.
Favorite TV show?
Oh.
I actually haven't watched like any TV shows this year besides reality TV, so.
What's your favorite reality
But I went into
TV show?
These old gay reality shows. They're from like 2006, maybe. They were on Logo, which is like used to be the gay channel, but then it's like what RuPaul's Drag Race premiered on, but then eventually like Logo shut down and just went to VH1. But they used to have this show called The A-List New York. And it was so good. It's just these bitchy gays in New York and all of their drama. And like, oh yeah, and the theme song for this show is so good. It's like so over the top gay. It's this guy going, I do what I like, get what I want, got what I need. Like, it's just so good.
Mine is Somebody Somewhere with Bridget Everett. So it had its third season this year. And it's about these people living in Manhattan, Kansas. And what if I had to just simply put it why I love the show is because it like shows reality, even though it's an acting show. It makes to me, I feel like it portrays small town America in a way that like I haven't seen in a TV show or like movie. So I like it for that reason.
Oh yeah, I want to watch
and it's
that
such a good show too.
Whole show. I love Bridget Everett.
I know, like you told me about her years ago. You said like, oh yeah, she's like friends with Amy Schumer and she sings and puts her boobs in people's faces. And it's funny because her character on the show did that too.
Really? She
Yeah.
like put her boobs in someone's face?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You remember I saw Amy Schumer in Vegas years ago, and Bridget Everett wasn't even the opening act. She was the closing act. And I think they did that because her act is so polarizing that like a lot of the audience did leave. It was a thing where like once, because she goes out into the audience and she shoves her boobs in people's faces and like sort of just harasses people. But like some people like, some people get really self-conscious. Obviously, who doesn't if they're getting their face shoved in someone's boobs? So a lot of people, I'm not kidding, like a lot of people left. So that makes sense why she would perform after Amy Schumer instead of the opening act, because she actually made a lot of people like run out.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I know, she just changed the whole energy of the room. It was like scary but funny. Like you didn't know if you were going to be her next, the person she would attack,
I would just feel awkward because I just being the center of attention in this random feed or something.
I know. Yeah, it was great.
The next one is favorite drama. So just favorite celebrity drama, favorite drama in your real life, whatever.
What's yours?
Okay, so these aren't really recent, but they're still my favorite dramas. Okay, first of all, the Beatles releasing a new song, Now and Then. So this is actually 2023. That's actually a good song. But no, this wasn't even a drama, but I viewed it as a drama. Ringo Starr tweeted like, "Oh my gosh, let's get this to #1 in the US." And I thought it was so. Basically, the drama is that you are actually part of. A lot of people would say the most iconic band in history. Like literally, you could say humankind, and you still want another #1. That's what's so funny about it.
That is funny. Like thinking of somebody from the Beatles trying to get everyone on Twitter to get them a #1 hit. Because when you think of the Beatles, I'm not even kidding. I always don't view them as being alive. I know like one of them is dead. Is it just one?
I think just one, yeah.
But I actually don't. My whole life when I've heard about the Beatles and I've seen photos of them, like, were they black and white photos or did they just, is that just in my memory? Because I remember always seeing them and being like, oh, they used to be alive and they made music, and I'd listen to their music and be like, wow, that's so cool. But they're actually, it's just so crazy. Like they're still alive. That's awesome. They made another song. But it is funny that
it's like a song that like I think was like I watched like a thing about it. Yeah, it was like a song that John Lennon made, I think, and then they like reproduced it and stuff.
Oh, that is crazy that, yeah, they're such legends, but they still are like, might as well get another #1 hit.
I know, I just thought that was so funny. And then the other drama, which is also kind of an old drama, but I still like the drama. People being mad at Madonna for being on TikTok.
Oh,
I forgot
people
exactly
hate
what it was,
her.
and people said she looks weird and stuff. But so the drama, just like, you guys are all haters. You guys just are also haterish. But it's just my favorite drama because I just like her being on TikTok.
I know. I love how she just is still, and like she's actually doing it for fun. Like, yes, you could argue maybe she's doing it to promote her music or something, but I think she actually just went on TikTok and she was like, this is kind of fun. And she's like, she would just have content days where she'd be like, let's like do a bunch of trends and maybe a few dances on here. And like, she's actually loving it.
Yeah. So I honestly have only seen a handful of her TikToks, but I just like how she's on TikTok, and I feel like we've entered this world where like everyone's on the internet. It's not like that. Some people don't go on the internet. It kind of feels like everyone's just on the internet.
I know, that is crazy. My favorite drama of the year was, I couldn't really think of one, but then I realized, oh, this is kind of fun. Just the J-Lo of it all. Like, it's kind of like how you're viewing the Madonna one. Like, it was just interesting of me watching this whole thing happen. Like, so she made this movie about her life where she spent so much money and like everyone was mad. And then she released an album and everyone was mad. And then she went on
the
tour.
Movie came out?
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I actually want to.
I actually kind of want to watch it too.
Apparently, it's like a musical movie and it's like actually high budget, but I guess everyone hated it. But yeah, it's just about like her whole love life or something. But then it just is weird how everyone was so excited she had to cancel her tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so basically, it just is kind of crazy how much people hate her.
I know, it's like, just let her live. And I remember then there was a photo of her and Coach on a plane, and people were like, oh my gosh, she's actually broke now. But it's like, she'll be fine.
Oh yeah, okay, so first of all, even if she was broke, who cares? But also, let's be completely honest, she isn't broke.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping that Pitbull and J-Lo will reunite and make some more classics, so then she can sell out a tour again.
Yeah, it's because from what I know about J-Lo, like I Like, I actually don't really listen to her music, but I do F with her, so I hope the best.
Oh yeah, I love Tusslers.
Oh, yeah. Then the next one is favorite meal. Because what is like foodies?
Okay, so this goes back to yesterday when I was writing this down and my brain was not working. And I actually just wrote, it's sad because I can't think of any. I actually couldn't think of any meals that I liked.
Oh.
I know, it was very sad. I was in a prison of my own making.
Okay, like what was happening? For some reason, I'm pitching you just got hit by a bowling ball. And like, I'm just picturing like this weird ass image in my head.
I know, I actually couldn't think of any though. I was trying to think like, okay, all the trips I went on, like, where did I eat? And nothing was coming to my mind. And it was just like, I couldn't remember any of the good.
Oh.
Only the bad.
Well, this was one of mine, which you probably could relate to. It's not my number one. Hawaiian food?
Oh.
There's this Hawaiian place by us where it's like, okay, rub that on my stomach. It's so good.
Oh, Hawaiian food has been a great food this year.
So the first one that came to mind, because it's hard to really think, because I love a bunch of shit, but a Reuben with so much sauerkraut. Ah! I just want a Reuben with so much sauerkraut. And oh my gosh, it makes me
Sauerkraut.
I love it so much. It makes me cry, kind of. It's actually so good, though, guys.
I have to go pee.
Okay. So I guess we actually are turning into lifestyle creators because the next one is best clothing brand. That's actually so dumb, but
Oh yeah, I just put Abercrombie because it's actually been for the last couple of years, but I just love how they've came back. Didn't like they have really bad drama, like the CEO was a dick and like did horrible
wasn't there a
things.
whole documentary about it? Is that what it was?
Yeah, but now like they have this new CEO and like they're like, yeah, like we're sorry, but like we're really good now.
Kind of is like the vibe, but none of that happened. You guys made it up.
Oh yeah, it's like we're gonna keep deleting that off the Wikipedia page, like the controversy section. Like that actually didn't
What if
happen. It was a mass
day-
delusion.
Every day a secretary deletes it, and then every day someone on the internet adds it.
It's just a constant battle between them. But I have to be honest, most of my clothing is from Abercrombie. Call me basic. Hate me, love me, but I'm gonna do me.
Hate me or love me, it's still an obsession.
Love me or hate me, it's still an obsession. Love me or hate me, that is the question. If you hate me, then fuck you. If you love me, then fuck you.
I feel like that should be the new intro to the podcast.
The Bad Girls theme song?
Yeah.
It should be.
So this one has been my favorite clothing brand for years. It's honestly the only really place I shop at. But Uniqlo. I love their basics.
Oh, Uniqlo is great.
And from my experience, if you get the right stuff, it's long lasting. Like for the last few years, I started realizing like it kind of started out with a minimalist thing, but then it kept turning into this thing where it's like, why buy stuff that's gonna break in 2 months? Might as well try to buy stuff that's at least gonna last a year and then maybe even last years on end.
Yeah, that really hit me hard when one Christmas I got Fashion Nova men clothing and I realized like this is just cardboard clothes. So I'm not going to support it anymore.
Yeah, I'm just and honestly though, obviously it's like a deeper issue. It's like, oh, like but I would say like it's just as simple as why buy something and only wear it twice?
Yeah, for sure. If it's going to crumble after the second wear, then yeah, it's not being bought by us anymore.
It's not going to make our pockets hot anymore.
We're taking a stand.
I know, and you could say it's small, but it's a huge one for humanity.
So maybe you guys could take a stand with us. Just a thought. I'm going to start crying. Best advice of the year.
Oh,
so this
I love
one,
this.
I was viewing it as the best advice I heard, right? I'm not thinking of my best advice. I'm thinking of the best advice I heard.
Oh,
But are you thinking the other way? Because that's fine.
I'm not thinking of advice. Like, I'm not actually thinking of advice that if I was actually someone's mentor, I'm just thinking of advice that I F with. Like, but I haven't heard it necessarily. So just
Okay.
advice that I'm like, I like it.
What's yours?
So it's actually two things. Take risks sometimes, or else you will never know.
Oh, that's actually good.
And then also this one, which was my first one, but then I changed it. So you have to believe in yourself because it's actually so cool if other people believe in you. But the only thing that's that's gonna get you further and actually make you accomplish your goals or whatever you want to accomplish is if you believe in yourself. Like others believing in you is so cool, but I feel like the only way you'll actually do anything is if you believe in yourself.
Oh yeah, and cultivating that is so important because you don't want to just be relying on these external things. What do you always have to have all these cheerleaders next to you believing in you? What if they all turn on you? You still better be rooting for yourself.
Oh, that's the thing. That's also like if we're fully diving into the advice. I feel like it kind of also goes into you shouldn't put so much of believing yourself and validation into like others and stuff. You should just like believe in yourself, because if you truly do believe in yourself, you never will have a low, because it's like you always believe in yourself and you always knew like you did what you believe in, which is cool as fuck.
Yeah, like say for example, like the whole world goes against you for some reason. Like you might as if you believe in yourself, then you'll be like, oh, who really cares? Like I F with me. Like what if tomorrow like the whole world suddenly was against you, but you were actually the right one?
Oh yeah, so I just feel like believing in yourself and obviously like hair, and it's like this whole thing where it's like, of course, like hair every side and stuff, but also just like always know like that your belief is strong, and even if you don't think it's strong, you should make it strong.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not rooting for yourself, then who the hell else is going to, you know?
Yes.
My best advice was something I heard on TikTok about 2 weeks ago. I actually already told Jacob this, but it was this girl. I wish I knew her username, but it was this girl saying, you guys, straight men are going to hate us no matter what. Straight men are always going to hate us women. So we might as well just be ourselves. Like, let go of trying to impress them. Because she was saying, like, say, for example, you change your whole self for straight men. Like, they're still going to hate you. You know what I mean? And like, I know that's such an exaggeration, but I know it wasn't even directed towards me. Like I'm not a woman. But like, I viewed it more in this other sense of like, I'm viewing straight men as just everyone. And it's like, so basically what I'm thinking is like, there's always going to be people who hate you. So why are you even trying to impress them? Like if you change yourself to try to impress them, they're still going to hate you. Like they're going to find a new reason to hate you. So just let go of all that shit and be yourself. Like say you're so annoying to some people. What are you going to do? Be like, I guess I won't talk anymore and I'll be really quiet. It's like, they're going to still hate you. Now they're going to be like, oh, you're so fucking boring. Like just be annoying. And if people get mad, don't take it too personally. And like, it's not really that big of a deal. Like some people are going to hate you and just let them hate and just don't get so offended when people hate you.
Oh yeah. I love this one too. I love this one like so much because it's like this whole thing of like, I feel like you should never make yourself smaller for others. Like, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's in this like Tyler the Creator song of like, don't ever, basically it's what it goes into. Don't ever dim your light for others. Like everyone has a light and you can tell sometimes like me and just like everyone, like sometimes you like hide yourself to like fit in or something. But it's this whole thing of like, you should never dim your light and just, and it's actually true though. Like I know it sounds so one-sided and stuff, but it's like the people that are gonna hate are always gonna hate because they're miserable. You can't fix a miserable person.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, say for example, someone does hate you. They hate something that you do. So then you start appeasing them. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I picture you on a leash on all fours being like, okay, walk me where I go. You show me the way. I'll listen to you. It's like, why are you doing that for anyone?
And
just be yourself. Let it go. Just take a deep breath and let it go.
It kind of also goes into this. Why is this person's opinion more valid than another person's opinion? Like, I feel like it goes into this whole thing of like, I feel like you really shouldn't like put one big group of people's opinion bigger than another group. It's like, you should just have your own opinion.
Oh yeah, and then also, it's just so weird because I wouldn't picture this to be a good advice, but I actually think every day just being like, everyone hates me, so like who really gives a fuck? Like, or just being like I know that sounds like it's a bad mindset, but it's actually freeing. I think it's just getting used to the idea of like, yeah, like a lot of people hate me, but like who gives a shit? And even if that's not true, but like, because you know, like so much of life is being scared of people not liking you. So maybe if you just really like always are like, everyone hates me anyway, so who cares? Like does that? I guess maybe that is bad advice to think that every day, but for some reason, for me, it feels freeing.
Yeah, because
I don't actually think everyone hates me, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just feels freeing because then it's like this whole thing of, oh, then I'm just gonna fully be me because I'm already like, it kind of just makes it feel like you're already at levels there. So like, there's only place to go up. The only way to go is up.
And that sounds bad, but somehow it feels good. So I feel like it's just about how it feels, and maybe it doesn't work for everyone, but for me at this point, like it's kind of like a good way to live.
Oh yeah, like that. I love the whole idea of that advice.
Oh, next. Favorite near-death experience of 2024? We actually had a few of these. Just recently we had one, but I'm not going to spoil it because it's probably going to be in your video upcoming.
Oh yeah, that's like the main one because is this the same with you? Like that's like the most near death if we're being completely honest, that's the most near death you felt in 2024.
For sure.
Yeah, basically we were staying at this hotel. We heard something really, like there was a bunch of commotion and then 4 police officers were there and then, yeah, but it's in a video that I'm going to upload.
Yeah.
It sounds funny
We'll
teasing
save
it, but
it for
it actually
that.
was terrifying as fuck.
Yeah, there's a picture of me and Jacob in a dark room at 2 a.m., frantically, but also trying to be quiet so no one can hear us from the hallway, packing up all of our shit and then whispering each other, okay, how are we going to get out of here? Okay, how do we get out? Like, should we run? Like, that was the vibe. And it actually sounds so dramatic, but I actually was thinking that. I actually wasn't even thinking in that moment I was going to die because when you're in like a panic, I love how your brain is just a tunnel. Like, all I'm thinking about is get my shit together and then how do we get out of here? Like, I'm not really thinking about all these what ifs, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it does feel like you have a mission and you're there for it. But yeah, like that was like the one, probably that was like that time I actually, like for some reason, it's just such a scary event. I actually thought like there is like a little chance like we could die, but we didn't, thankfully, and I'm so thankful and thanks the universe, G God, whatever.
But this one I wrote down wasn't actually a near-death experience, but it was kind of a what the fuck moment. So I was in a bar in this other state and I was trying to go towards the exit.
I was going to write this one down too.
I was trying to go towards the exit. Jacob was on the stairs because this bar had a second floor, and there was a man blocking him on the stairs, not letting him down. And I was like, let us go. Like, we're not going to... This guy was trying to buy us a drink. Oh, the struggles of being so hot.
I know.
So he was trying to buy us a drink, and we refused, which got him kind of mad. And then he wasn't going to let us leave. He wasn't taking no for an answer. He was like, no, I'm getting it. And he went straight. First of all, he went to the bar and he was like, get us another drink. And I told the bar, I'm like, no. And then he was blocking you on the stairs. I was by the door. And then the bar looked at me and because he kept saying, get us another drink, get us another round. And it's like, oh my, you actually think you can trap us here? Like, even if you get a round, have fun paying for it because I'm not going to drink it. And then I actually did like the cutthroat sign to the bar. You know, like, where it's just the vibe of like, oh, like this isn't a vibe. Not cutthroat, but you know, like where you move your hand like in a fan motion.
Oh, yeah, being like, no, like this isn't it.
So I did that to the bar, and then they got the vibe of like, oh, they don't really F with this guy. So then he eventually let you out, and we sprinted back to our hotel.
If I remember right, it wasn't really a thing where he moved his hand. I kind of just like went over it or something, right?
Yeah, that wasn't even a near-death experience. Like at no point did I think we were going to die, but that was kind of a vibe where it was like, this is funny. He's trying to trap us in here. Like, you never really feel that as a guy, so I feel bad for these girls. Like, when a guy asks you to buy you a drink, it's like kind of scary because it's like, am I going to say, if I say no, is he going to try to lock me in here? Like, that's how women go through life?
I know. That's actually so eye-opening and crazy to think about. That was more the vibe of like, it wasn't, to me, maybe not near death, but you already said that. It was more of like, is there going to be a physical alteration because like we aren't gonna stay here, we're leaving, and like, so like, what are we gonna have to fight you because like it just was it was just a weird vibe type thing.
Oh yeah, it was kind of just like, what happened? But also it's kind of like once we're in safety, it was kind of like, I'm glad because we were filming videos in this one area of the country, and I was just like, I'm glad we did get a drink after filming because like that was it wasn't a fun experience, but it was an experience, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, since feels like we like could have fought back, you know, so we feel more safe.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole experience of that bar was just interesting, and I felt like I like got to absorb the culture of this specific area, which is cool. Also, another one that I put was merging on highways. So you know, this one's a serious one. So you know how when you're merging on the highway, but you're not getting on the interstate or highway, when there's 2 lanes about to merge on the highway?
Yeah.
What's that? I don't know what that's called.
We're talking about when you get on, like you're merging onto the highway? Oh,
Yeah, but there's 2 lanes merging on the highway, and you have to merge with the other lane before getting on the highway.
Oh, that is annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that is so unsafe, and I don't know what's happened. And I get like we're supposed to merge, but then some people don't, and it's like actually really scary, and it feels near death every time.
I know. I'm kind of annoyed with myself because in the last couple of years, I feel like I've been more anxious with driving, where it's like I never used to be scared of car wrecks or anything, but now like I think it's ever since I had this one experience on the interstate where my little dumbass Tesla started merging into a lane, and at the same time a semi was merging into that lane, so I had to like swerve, and I was going like 75, so it actually made like this skid noise, and like I had to turn off the music, and I was just like, wait, did I almost actually die? And it was just weird being like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just like, what?
I feel like that's happened to me when I drove to, like, I actually have to pause the music and be like, oh, like, I'm so thankful I didn't
I know, I'm
die.
just like, thank God I didn't get hurt. Thank God I didn't run into someone else's car. Like, praise Jesus. So, best bad mood day of 2024. Mine goes to, in Australia, I would blame jet lag, but we already had been there for a week and a half. We were in Sydney walking to Bondi Beach, and our hotel was very far from Bondi Beach. I want to say 2 hours away, but we were all on the vibe of, let's walk. This is so fun. And I actually did want to do it, but then I was sweating so much because it was so hot. And I didn't really care because once we got there, we were just going to go in the water anyway. But I remember just sweating so much and being in the worst mood. I don't think I ever really had an outburst on anyone, so I don't think anyone really knew I was in a bad mood, but I just remember being miserable. Did you notice?
No, I didn't.
That's why I held it in.
Mine was, I just remember being in such a tired mood when we got off this Disney cruise.
Oh.
We had a flight booked. I think we've already talked about this, but we had a flight booked. The flight got canceled. We didn't really have anything to do. It was raining so much. It wasn't sunny. And I just remember we were both so tired because we only got a few hours of sleep, a little bit hungover. And I remember we both were like, oh, we should watch a movie because there's nothing to do. And I remember Lucas kept saying, there's all these movies to watch. And I remember just being like, I hate everything. And then you were saying, let's watch Deadpool. And we did watch it. But I remember I was just like, I don't want to watch it. And then the movie I thought was fine, but I kept almost falling to sleep during the movie. And it was just the type of day where I actually felt like I was in a dream and delusional.
I know it was so hard to stay awake during that movie because we got no sleep, and it was just, and we didn't know how long we were going to be stuck there. That was a pretty good bad mood day.
Yeah, it hit.
Next topic, best mental health that you relate to in 2024. So it's just like what mental health disorder encapsulated the year for you?
Yeah, just like you think about the year, what do you think of? Mine was OCD. I feel like it wasn't a depression year. It wasn't an anxiety. It was more OCD year.
Ooh.
That's something different, which I kind of liked, actually.
Mine kind of goes into OCD. Mine is control freak disease. I don't even know if that is a disease, but maybe that's just OCD. But it's feeling like you have to control everything. Like being on a plane, and then like the plane isn't going to the gate, and then you're kind of like feel like you have to control it. Like, are we going to be stuck on this plane? But it's like, girl, like even you stressing, you can't control it. So just please let go.
It goes back to the advice you gave. The whole advice of you can't. These people are gonna hate you no matter what. So you can't do anything. It goes to this thing. I feel like one of the freeingest feelings is just realize when you are in a stressful situation, you can't control anything. So why are you stressed about it?
Yeah, but I feel like that's something I struggle with, like trying to control things that I can't control. That actually, like, they're just so irrational. Like that plane example, or like, yeah, I'm just been a more of a OCD control freak vibe, I guess.
That's kind of Virgo, right?
Oh, it fits my astrology, which is cool.
Controlling.
I'm a control freak. Favorite video on your YouTube channel of 2024? Mine is the Margaritaville cruise because, you know, I took a chance and I was like, let's book travel to Florida, get a rental car.
It was scary too because we've never been on a cruise. Like I remember we genuinely were like, we are scared.
And we actually were scared to go on the cruise because never been on one. We were going on the worst rated cruise, so that was kind of scary. And it was just a fun experience. I loved how the video turned out, and it was just a good experience. So that's my favorite video.
Okay, mine is, because the one that I was purely most excited about, but if I'm going by actual like video that I think is the most entertaining on my channel this year, it wouldn't be this one, but just the one I was most excited about was staying at the Chateau Marmont on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, because I've always, for like more than a decade, viewed that hotel as so iconic. I never had been in it. Like, I've been in LA so many times telling Lucas, like, we should eat lunch here, but it just got dismissed. We just didn't really think about going. And I've wanted to, like, and I always thought, like, I want to stay there, but I don't even know why I would stay there, but I want to. But I'm glad I got to stay there, and we got to eat at the restaurant too, and it was so iconic being at the restaurant because I was filming, and then a waiter came up to me and said, "You can't film here. There's no cameras," and that added to my experience because it made it feel so Hollywood. Like, that's so Hollywood, not being able to film stuff purely because there might be a celebrity around you.
No cameras allowed.
Yeah, and that hotel is really cool to me.
Yeah,
But-
that was awesome. I actually, last night on TikTok, a live popped up of outside of the Chateau Marmont, and there was all these cars pulling up and all these paparazzi, and the video just said, like, celebs are arriving, and I was like, what's going on there? It's like, that wasn't the vibe at all when we were there, but there must have been some event there last night.
Oh yeah, we were there on a weekday where it felt more casual. Like, it didn't actually feel like even busy there.
Oh yeah, but I didn't even watch the live that long, but it was crazy being like, we stayed there.
I know.
Next up, glow up of the year. So what's your glow up of the year?
So this is another one what kind of extends into last year. My glow up that I actually am proud of is that I can finally, like, just do. Okay, so chin ups I've been able to do for a few years, but I can actually do, like, multiple pull ups. Like,
that is crazy when you actually think about it. Because since you can do it for a while, it's like, oh, who cares? But there was a time where you probably couldn't even do one, and it was like, it seemed like so far away.
I know. I remember being on a pull up bar a few years ago, being like, this is like so. Yeah, I'd be like, I hope I could do it one day. but then it got to a point where, yeah, like you said, I'm kind of just used to it now. But if I could speak to myself 5 years ago and tell myself, I can do pull-ups now, I actually would have a big smile on my face and be like, oh, congrats, that's sick.
I know, that is cool. That is a good glow up. I had to obviously do mine as my second hair transplant from Dr. Ziering in Hollywood. I mean, I paid so much money for it, so it has to be my best glow up. My literal plastic surgery of the year. Well, how could I not pick that?
Oh, I wouldn't even have thought about that, but that's true.
Dr. Ziering.
Shit.
Yeah. He put hair in my head. Like I'm a little rat doll. Like I'm a little rag doll. And he experimented on me and was doing all this surgery on my head. And it was a very big glow up.
I mean, that's a glow up. But by the way, is glow up a new term? Because I just heard it like a few years ago, but has it always been a thing? Or like, is it?
I swear it's been a thing since like 2015 or something. But yeah, it's more of like a YouTube trend.
Social, yeah.
Yeah. Worst nightmare of the year. It's so weird because when I wrote this yesterday, so after my hair transplant, you kind of have to just sit and do nothing for 2 weeks. So I think that leads to like mild depression and you're taking all these pills, like these Valium and like painkillers. And I don't know what it is about pain meds for me, but I remember this even when I was like 19, I did this other hair thing. It wasn't a hair transplant, but they gave me pain meds after it. And I remember I was actually like depressed. Like I would just cry and stuff. And I was like, why am I even sad? Like I think they sometimes have, they have a vibe on me where there's like a downer.
Is it because so it goes into like you aren't doing anything, like you're just like sedentary because that's part of like the routine you're supposed to do, but also being on these painkillers that might mess with like your brain a little bit. I feel like that combo.
Yeah, but I feel like after the hair transplant, I had such bad nightmares, and like I remember I actually they weren't like scared, but I actually woke up from one of them and I actually started crying because I was in my bed alone, and I actually just cried because I was like, what is wrong? But then I was like, snapped myself out of it. I was like, oh, I'm just like down in the dumps because I have been sitting around doing nothing for 2 weeks.
Do you remember what the dream is or no?
That one wasn't even really that entertaining, but it just proves like plastic surgery has a cost.
Oh yeah, I remember you said like this year that you feel like I'm being like having to not do anything for 2 to 3 weeks or whatever. Kind of it like elongated into like a month and a half because you're so used to not doing anything that it's hard to get into a routine again.
You know, I feel like it actually is just like a life ruiner.
So I guess you saying that makes you realize like apparently when these people get like 4 things done in a year, like they would actually have a half year. Like actually have a year where it's like, I haven't done anything.
I know, so I feel bad for these like BBL people.
I know.
But it's so weird that yesterday I wrote down that the hair transplant thing. But last night, I don't know if it's because I had nightmares in my head, but I had the most fucked up dream that I'm not even gonna say the whole thing because it's like too fucked up.
Can you just give a cliff note?
Okay, so basically, this is the end of the dream. Somebody was driving a car that I was dragging behind with a chain.
Ew, that's disgusting. This is actually, I know if I had this dream, I actually would have woke up and had to stay up.
Okay, so I was being dragged behind a car with a chain.
Ew.
And I saw, it was in like a residential suburban neighborhood.
That's even creepier.
There was this couple outside, because in these suburban neighborhoods, like couples hang out on their driveways for some reason. They don't even utilize their backyards. But there was this couple in the front of their house, and I was waving to them. I was like, "Can you guys help? Like, I'm being dragged behind this car." And they were like, "Oh my God!" But they didn't do anything. So anyway, then it got to the. So this is where the dream kind of takes a turn.
Was it just you in this dream by this way, or were other people involved?
There were other people, but I was the only one getting dragged. So then on the side of the road, there were these. I don't know if they were homeless people or what, but there were these homeless people on the side of the road, and one of them, this is the weirdest part. One of them didn't have legs. They just had like their upper torso, and they were like, that actually is a thing. Sometimes people are disabled or they were in an accident, but they didn't have legs. And then my legs had been chopped off from being dragged, by the car. So I didn't have legs anymore. But then it was this weird thing where I walked over to that person. And this doesn't even make sense. The dreams don't make any sense. But I like merged into their body because like my body that was missing fit their body. And then I was just like dragging around and like bones were sticking out. But then I was so happy in the dream because then the car who was dragging me, the guy looked at me and he was like, "Oh, I guess he disappeared," because he just thought I was the homeless person then. Like he was like, "Oh, the guy who I was dragging is just not here anymore," but I was merged into their body.
So when you were the homeless person, did you have legs or no?
Well, the weird thing was like, that's what's weird. It was like this weird thing where I like went into their body, but like I was like that's what doesn't make any sense. But like, because we both didn't have legs, but somehow in the dream, like once I connected to their body, like it was like I put their body over my legs. So then we became one person.
This is such an interesting dream. Like this is the type of dream where like you'd wake up from it and have like a whole movie idea.
And I was just like, what the hell?
That was last night?
Yeah, that was last night.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
I know. So what was your favorite nightmare of the year?
Well, first of all, a note is NyQuil induced dreams. So I took NyQuil like 2 or 3 nights and it messes with you where like your dreams feel too realistic. And also you like, this also happened with NyQuil. You wake up and think you did something in actual life, but you didn't.
Because didn't you sleepwalk?
Yeah.
When you were on NyQuil?
Yeah, that did happen once. So I just feel like NyQuil is really weird. But so I actually wanted to try to find my worst nightmare because sometimes when I have a nightmare, I journal about it because I just want to like find out why I even had this nightmare. And this is, I would think, my worst nightmare that year. I found it in my journal. It was this dream about me being in high school again, which, first of all, that's bad vibes to me. But,
for sure.
So this dream kind of touched on reality. And it was this kid that, there was like a few days when I was in high school. So this is the reality part. Well, he was just annoying. Like, he would just like be annoying. I don't know exactly what he did, but he was just annoying.
Just like mild bullying?
Yeah, like one of those things. Like I'd be walking to class and it was like mild bullying. But in this dream, so I was in high school, but I had my headspace that I did now. So basically what I'm saying is I feel way more confident now than I did then. And in this dream, I like was so mad and I kind of like, it was just this weird dream where I was like in high school, but I had my mindset right now. And then I woke up from the dream being like, what just happened? Because I still didn't do anything in the dream, but the dream resurfaced all these feelings I had about these minor bullies in high school. And it made me disgusted thinking like, why did I let them treat me like that? So that's why that was the worst nightmare. It wasn't the worst nightmare in terms of scariness. It was the worst nightmare in terms of self-esteem.
Oh, yeah.
Because I felt like I was connected to my like modern day self, but then I felt how they just do like these offhand comments that I just wailed and ewy. That's not a word, but so they just left me kind of like for half of the next day feeling uncomfortable being like I guess I just thought like, oh, if that ever for some reason happens in your life, I'm not gonna let it happen. It wasn't anything that crazy, but just when you like think about things, you realize that like it kind of did affect you a little bit or something. So
I feel like
gross nightmare.
Those like low self-esteem type nightmares are the worst. Like where you wake up and you're just Yeah, and it actually could affect you for like hours after waking up.
It's so gross. It feels like you got stuck in glue and it's hard to wipe it off.
Ugh.
I added one, but you can just think of one at the top of your head. The best book you read?
Oh.
This one was I didn't read that much this year, I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, I'd have to look through like my Kindle app. Okay, so mine, I feel like my favorite book is probably Down the Drain by Julia Fox.
Oh my gosh, I literally forgot about that book. That's also one of mine.
Oh yeah, and then another one I recently just read, Striptease. It's a memoir by something Flannery. It's a memoir about a girl who worked at American Apparel in the early 2000s and like everything she saw from the inside and working her way up, which was so interesting. I feel like that was one of those books I read in like 3 days because I just had to read it, like just in big chunks.
Yeah, that's what Down the Drain was like too. I had to finish it quick because like this is so entertaining.
So those are two great ones.
The one that I wrote was a book called, which I think I might have read another year, but I read it again. Siddhartha or Siddhartha, I think. It's kind of like similar to the another book, the Alchemist. That's what
yeah.
It's kind of similar to that book in terms of like it's a tale about. Basically, I just love books like that. Where it's a pretty short book, but it's about this guy who like basically trying to find the search for true meaning, which I found really interesting. And it was a really easy read too.
I'll have to add that to my list.
Yeah, it's pretty short, but it's good.
Oh yeah, another book I read, that's another honorable mention, is Chaos by Tom O'Neill. This kind of goes into the Joe Rogan conspiracy things. Basically, this guy he was just a journalist and he was going to do a story about Charles Manson, like a 20 years later look back. But then while researching for that like kind of little story, it took him down like a 2-decade rabbit hole of investigating Charles Manson and like MK Ultra and the CIA and like, was it all connected? Just an insane read and just so interesting. And then that made me read another book about MK Ultra called Poisoner in Chief. And that was more of just like a straightforward look at what they know about like what happened with the MK Ultra.
Basically, we're all part of the new MK Ultra experience.
Oh yeah, we're all brainwashed. It's just scary because the MK Ultra, like it's so back then, like I guess the government was so scared of brainwashing because I think it was Korean. Like in Korea, like soldiers were being held captive in Korea and then they came back and like it seems like they were brainwashed. So the US military was like, okay, these other countries know how to brainwash people. Holy shit. Like we need to get on this to like be competitive. So they started doing all these inhumane experiments, which were MK Ultra. And then like they kind of tried to keep it under wraps, but it came out. Just a thrilling read.
No, all that stuff is so interesting to me, but I haven't read those books.
Just a little Joe Rogan conspiracy moment.
Isn't some of it like proven though? Or like kind of real?
Oh yeah, like the Chaos book where he's trying to connect Charles Manson to MK Ultra, like it is like there's no concrete evidence behind that.
But with MK Ultra, so maybe it's not completely proven, but like those bits of it that
are
like
MK Ultra, I think they actually had to admit to
the files or something.
Because somebody leaked the files, so then they had to admit to it. But like the goal was to never tell anyone.
Yeah, so I guess if that happened that back then, it's probably stuff like that's happening now.
So that's kind of fun.
Now, predictions for next year.
This is kind of scary because people always email us every now and then because I guess in the 2019 end of year episode, Jacob had all these predictions about COVID happening and then it happened. So I'm just scared.
Feel like that's kind of an exaggeration.
So I'm just scared for whatever you're going to say.
I think when we usually do this, I don't even write anything down. It kind of comes to mind.
I
did write a few things down, though.
People also said we predicted Ice Spice. Because I guess one time we said, next year there's going to be a new female rapper. And then Ice Spice happened, which, every year there's a new female rapper, but still we predicted Ice Spice.
Yeah. So I just feel like 2025 is one of those years where it is going to be first of all, just 2025 is like a monumental year. But I feel like it's going to be one of those things where like I'm going to have a good year. But with that being said, like I kind of have a feeling that maybe like the culture won't have a good year.
That's so funny because what I wrote down is gonna be bad. ... No, but I'm kidding. I mean it more in your respect of like. I think it's just gonna be like.
Whole.
I think there is gonna be like a lot of big things. I don't think it's gonna be anything like super like horrible, but I feel like that it is gonna be like a big year, which could be overwhelming.
Yeah,
and then I also wrote down aliens !
But something else that I have a feeling that I just wrote down yesterday is I feel like there's a dying fast food chain that's really gonna pop off. And I don't mean this. Oh, people on TikTok are liking it. It's kind of a vibe now. I'm talking about literally it's gonna be with the greats. Like I feel like it's gonna be like a Chick-fil-A type moment, Chipotle type moment.
So you're saying like an Arby's might rise from the ashes.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or like even Sonic. Those places, they've been around. They're obviously succeeding. Probably worth billions or something. But I just feel like one of those places is gonna become like I'm talking about like with like the greats.
Well, I hope so. I love a good comeback.
And then another one that I wrote down that I just thought is I feel like tea is gonna explode. So I feel like there's gonna be a bunch of articles and a bunch of influencers saying like, yeah, I drink tea instead of coffee. It just is really good for your skin, really good for you. And I know people have been saying this for a while. I've been saying it literally for the whole of humanity, but I just feel like there's gonna be a tea explosion. So
I thought you meant like,
yeah, it's just gonna be a thing where you'll go up to someone and be like, yeah, I'm drinking black tea today, not coffee.
I thought you meant more of like a tea drama thing, but no, tea, the drink is gonna have. If this year was the year of espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, maybe next year is more the year of green tea by Normani.
Yeah. I know tea is literally one of the most consumed beverages in the world, so it's kind of weird even to say that it's going to have an explosion, but I just think it will.
I'm excited to see if that comes true. Well, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Have a great end of the year.
Yeah, and 2025, here we come. And you got to remember that all of this time stuff is actually just fake. Like 2025, we made up a calendar. So I'm not saying that time is fake, even though that can be debated. I'm just saying that 2025 is just off a calendar that we created. So
it's all based on the sun.
I feel like you shouldn't be stressed about it so much if for some reason you are.
When you actually think about it, it's like, so the sun, like we're going around the sun another year and like, it isn't like a big deal. It's just like, it's all an illusion.